Hey there, it's Linda Cromar. I'm coming to you from my home office in Colorado. And today we're going to talk about a topic that may be kind of tough for you, and it is for me actually, and that is that you're not an island. We all live kind of interdependently, and there's a difference between interdependent and independent. In other words, we have things we can accomplish on our own, but we also realize that we can do it better if we have other kinds of support and help from other people. Now, this applies as much to business as it does to personal situations. But I might use more examples of personal because I have a lot to talk about that way. As I've said before, and many have heard, I do have a very disabled person in my family, my husband, that requires a lot of care. He is starting to get very feeble, kind of lightheaded and easily easily losing his balance and falling. And he's needing a lot more support and help. And luckily, I do live in a situation where I have help. I have family members that live with me. I have a very unique situation because I didn't have them move in because I needed their money. I had them move in because I wanted support and help with, even back when they first moved in, I knew I was going to be in this situation pretty soon. And I was looking ahead at the possibility that there was going to be a need that I couldn't take care of completely by myself. And I was right. And my husband is getting to that point where he really needs a lot of help. This past pretty much all week, you might have noticed I didn't do as many videos. And one of the major reasons was I hadn't been getting enough sleep to function very well. And I didn't want to really come across as somebody that was kind of losing it, although I was kind of losing it. And I knew that I needed help. And so I reached out. He's on hospice. So I reached out to the nurses there, finally got some pretty good help. It took a few days for us to get it ironed out. Because what I didn't know is with dementia, sometimes people start having agitation. And it might manifest in various different ways. But in his case, it was manifesting that he had this hyper desire to get up constantly. He thinks he has to go to the bathroom, but what it really is his mind is telling him he has to get up, whether there's a real reason or not. And he couldn't really lay down and rest. And so therefore, since we share the room and the bed, I couldn't either. And that became pretty critical by this weekend, last weekend. When you can only get maybe a snatch of a 1 hour, 2 hours here and there, it doesn't take very long before you're in kind of a critical situation and can't sleep enough to be able to do your work. And if you feel sleepy and not with it during the day, and that's how I was feeling, something has to crack. Either you have to make a decision that's not going to be pleasant. We actually batted around the idea of him being in another home without my doing daily. The reason why he was doing this was something that could be tackled if we did the right thing. They found a medication that helps that. Saturday and Sunday, I have gotten rest, and I feel really, really good today. But the real point of the story is I had to realize I couldn't function unless I had help. And even the family living with me wasn't enough. One of them probably could have sat up with him and let me sleep, but that would have been difficult. The real reason we wanted to get this settled is because they're getting ready to take a vacation, a well-needed and well-anticipated vacation that's for 2 weeks. And I was looking at the possibility of having the whole situation to myself and not having enough resources to handle it. So we did call the hospice nurses over the weekend. They had to experiment a little bit, but they found a solution a medication that helps him relax and get calm enough that he can sleep, so I can too. And it makes him a little bit groggy. He did have a fall this morning because of that, but we'll manage that as well. But it is an ongoing situation that you must know that no matter what kind of a situation you're in, you can't really function as an independent island without anyone else. Now, that doesn't mean that you become a victim and you can't take any action on your own. There is a difference. This is not a victim situation where I don't believe I can handle anything. This is, I know that there are some solutions and I need help finding them. That is a different way of looking at it. I know I need a solution. I have a problem I can't solve by myself. I need someone to help me find that solution, and then I will be fine. That is exactly what I'm really talking about, that you can apply that mindset to anything, whether it be your business or something in your personal life. In my case, it is the caregiving of my very disabled husband at this point. Making sure that he's safe, making sure that he gets what he needs food-wise, making sure he gets safely to the bathroom. He still wants to go, even though he's pretty close to incontinent completely. But then there's, cleaning up and changing and all of that stuff. Maybe that doesn't sound pleasant to talk about, but you do have to realize in the last part of life, people get to that point where they can't do a lot for themselves and they have to have help. And right now, he's completely dependent on us. And that is okay, as long as we know that we have to be at our best to take care of him. And that was what this whole weekend was about, is I have to be at my best in order to be a good caregiver, and I can't do that if I'm not getting my rest. It's kind of like the airplane story. I've said this before, but I think it applies quite well. You can't do a good job of taking care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. In the instance of the airline, what do? They do that safety thing at the very beginning before the plane begins to taxi out, or it's at the point where it's taxiing but it's not taking off, and they go through the safety and they show you about the seat belts. And then what else did they show you? They show you about the oxygen, and it drops down, and they tell you how you're supposed to handle it. You're supposed to put it on yourself first before you do it for anyone else, if you have people that can't do it for themselves, like if you have a child or a disabled adult with you. And the same thing goes here. I have to make sure that I'm at my best, or I can't do a really good job of being a caregiver. And that's also the case when it comes to business. We can take this into training. We can take this into just knowing that you have to have help at a certain point. Like, I can actually be a good team member and leader to absolutely all of my team members, but there is a time when you can get to a point where you're overwhelmed and you're doing too much, and you don't want that to come across. That's my doorbell, that noise. You don't want it to come across to your new people that are just barely in your system that they have to do the same thing. You want them to be treated with respect, but you want them to know that they don't have to do everything, that they can reach out, and that we can be all together and supportive of each other. When you have a good system where you're sharing the support and help with others in the team, then you don't get to a place where you might be in burnout. And that's important. You should not be at a point where you're at burnout, because it's going to come across to all of your team members. And if they think that they have to do the same thing, it's not going to be very attractive to them, is it? They need to know that they can get help and that they don't have to do it all. And that their system is simple enough that they reach out and get help if they need it, or they can just go and watch the help yourself videos or whatever it takes. But understanding that you want to set up a system that makes people understand that they're not an island, they're a part of a team, and there are people that will support them. When you establish that, your business is going to grow like crazy. I know mine is. Because even during that weekend, when I couldn't do a whole lot, there were other people working in my behalf. And that's really important. You don't want to be in a position where your business is 24/7 and you never have a break, any more than you want to do that if you were a caregiver, like my story I told. So you want to make sure that your system is set up to really support everyone, regardless of where they are, whether they're a newbie or somebody that has some experience in whatever they're doing. When they understand that it is not where they have to know it all or do it all, they're more likely to be very excited about being part of it. Because being part of a team with good support, good instruction, is very seriously important to your business. Just like my analogy or my story about my needing support and help, I want you to know that in my business, that is our top priority. And there isn't just one person you have to go to, but there's a whole team. And that's very important. I hope that helps you. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it of any kind of value, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to learn more about how I have created a supportive and interesting, easy way to build a business with support, not as an island, let's have a talk. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.